There we go. Okay, you don't have to get that worse.
Looks good.
Okay, can you move? It's all good. It's all good. All right.
All right.
All right. Take it easy. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Guess who's joining me today? His name is Shawhin. He's a little mute right now, but his name is Shawhin. He is my boyfriend and he's joining me today. So today we're gonna be talking about New Year's resolutions and how to make it stick. If you're new to my channel, make sure, or if you're old to my channel, make sure you hit the like button, you subscribe, leave a comment, like the video.
We're doing like every video on the channel.
Make sure if you are watching this video, you like every single video on this channel and you watch every single one of them all the way through. Okay, cool. So let's just get into the video. He also has a YouTube channel, so I'll link it down below with his info. So you should subscribe to him. He makes videos about physics.
Data science, machine learning, and coming soon, productivity.
There you go. And this is kind of like a productivity video. So I wanted to film a video on New Year's resolutions because, to be frank,
You're iffy.
to be honest, TBH, I'm just exhausted of the whole 2020 narrative. I think everyone is like, oh my god, worst year. COVID, we've been at home, you know.
Can't see anyone.
Can't see anyone. It's just, that's exhausting in itself.
Our beloved co-workers.
I know. But just the whole narrative that goes behind it. 2020 is the best conversation starter for people who like small talk, aka no one.
Right,
so,
it's the new weather.
Yeah, it's the new, like, how's the weather? Like, oh my god, this year, right?
How
LOL.
bad is the 2020?
And I think because we're so exhausted of this narrative, we kind of put everything in a box and we say, okay, we're not gonna deal with it in 2021. It's just gonna magically become the best year ever. And that is our problem. We do this every year, regardless. It's not just 2020. Every single new year, everyone just says, okay, let me just start over without looking back at what I did and fixing anything.
Yeah, you're so enthusiastic to just get rid of the problem.
Yeah.
You never take the steps to actually solve the problem.
Exactly. And solving problems is a lot of reflection, a lot of discomfort, a lot of iterations before you get to where you want to be.
There's a thing called New Year's resolutions, and there's a fundamental core problem at the heart of them. And that problem is people set unrealistic expectations for themselves. Mm-hmm. They think just because it's a new year, some part of their behavior is going to change. Mm-hmm. But behavioral change or success or something like that, it's not something that you just stumble upon one day.
Right.
It's not magically one day your environment just kind of configures itself so that
to make you the best person that you're
for you to be successful. Right. Like success is something you're actively pursuing, mm-hmm. and you have to force your environment
to serve you
and for you to be successful.
Right. So I think that's what we kind of want to address today. Obviously I brought him here because he is a scientific physical education expert, and I'm just kidding. No, we both are pretty passionate about just kind of, you know, habits for success and being productive. Yeah, I wanted to hit on
how to set ourselves up for success.
How to set yourself up for success for this new year and for any resolution you have, because I think we place a lot of ideas and like, oh, I've been seeing a bunch of like New Year's resolution ideas and stuff like that. And it's like, honestly, it doesn't matter what your New Year's resolution is. If you kind of have a terrible way of setting that up for yourself, mm-hmm. it's not going to work. So I wanted to address not just the idea of, you know, the ideas that go into New Year's resolutions, but the strategy of how to make any New Year's resolution you have work. So that's what we're going to get into today.
Wow.
Let's get started. Okay, so get your notebooks out because we're going to be talking about the tips. We have 5 key points that can make any resolution that you have stick.
Wow.
So number 1, the first one, and it's kind of like, it seems like it's going backwards, and it might not seem something like super new and innovative, but I think it is very key to anything that you want to change about yourself, is observing yourself and observing the behaviors that you have.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so it's kind of a good thing to start off the year with, because it's not overwhelming. It's not like, oh my gosh, by January 1st at 5 p.m. I must do 600 push-ups in one sitting. Like, it's not something crazy, and it's like, oh, I just have to be myself. Yeah, that's literally what you have to do. A lot of the ideas I'm going to talk about today also are influenced by a book called Atomic Habits. It's here on the screen. I'll link it down below. Everything he writes in this book is really digestible, really practical, so I highly suggest you read it. But these are just things that I've kind of taken from the book and just like my daily life.
A lot of times we make the same mistakes over and over again. We engage in behaviors or patterns that don't lead to outcomes that we want, but it's just a habit, so we just keep doing it over and over again. When you are able to observe your behavior and kind of take a step back and look at what you're doing, you can start predicting the future. When you're engaged in the same habit, the repeated behavior pattern, you can say, oh, this is how I feel right before I feel shitty.
And I think we did this with my habits, because I remember, you know, for the past, I don't know, last month, I want to say, I kept noticing that I was feeling terrible when I would stay in bed all day and watch TikToks, which is very normal and common. But I remember at the end of the day, I would just always feel terrible. Like, I would feel so shitty. I wouldn't feel productive. And, you know, he was kind of helping me, like, okay, what are you doing when you're doing those activities? So I know being on my phone makes me feel awful, like for two 5 hours a day, and then I notice every time I'm on my phone I'm in bed. So like that was just another added thing that is a part of my behavior pattern that I have to kind of stop, because I notice if I'm not in my bed, I don't feel like I need to pull up my phone and do all these things. It's just, you know, your environment definitely affects how you behave. So just looking at what you do, maybe just taking the first month to track, okay, I'm gonna start today. That the only thing you have to do is start today and track what you do, what you already do, and then at the end of the month reflect, okay, what am I doing and how does each action make me feel? I think that was in the book too, like tracking what you do and then noticing how you feel when you do certain things. So that's really easy, and it doesn't require you to do much. And you're already getting started on changing something because you're reflecting and not like, oh, what did I do all of 2020? No, it's just noticing your everyday pattern and kind of logging it in a journal or something like that. So this could be applied to anything, financial goals, physical, like, you know, working out, workout goals, eating, all those things. Track how much you eat, track what you spend. Like, all these things are really easy to track, and it's something that anyone can get started doing. So the second one,
we're only on 2. Okay,
I know, we gotta get through this video. So the second one is make resolutions that align with your life goals. So I want to say, after you reflect, again, these are high level, okay, there's other things you need to do, but whenever you do start to make your resolutions, make them align with your, not just, oh, I want to make $80,000 this year or something. That's not something I feel like is aligning with the true like life's purpose. I feel like we want to get to like the real like aspirational level, because I think it sets anything you do or the resolutions you make to match a person that you want to be, not just a tangible thing that you want to have. So one of my biggest life goals is to be happy. So that is vague and it's broad, but I know what makes me happy, right? Like a happy person in my mind, or a happy version of me, is someone who is healthy, somebody who takes a lot of time to reflect in their mind and be still and meditate. Like, those kind of things make me happy. Somebody who's doing something she's passionate about. So I want any resolution that I make to match the life goal, not just I want to be a millionaire. Why? Like, why do you want to be a millionaire? Do you know if being a millionaire is what's going to actually make you happy, or is it just something you think is going to fix the problems that you don't want to fix? So I think when you take time to think about the higher level, it makes everything that you do in your life intentional with purpose, so you can meet that goal with any action that you're doing. You have your resolution not so much be the final goal, but like a sub goal, like something along the way that's kind of like
what you're saying here.
Yeah, so make something that think about what aligns with your life goals, how you, the person you want to be, and then start making resolutions from there. And then even when you make resolutions, like just say you're somebody who wants to be, I don't know, you want to help people, okay? That's like your big life purpose. And then you start with like 1 to 3 goals underneath that of, you know, working in charities and I don't know, like taking extra time to spend with your family or whatever, and then go even deeper. I think that's what you should start with.
It's like the old saying, like, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time.
So. No, I've never heard of that one.
You haven't heard that?
No, I haven't.
Well, like, how do you clean your room? You know, you pick up one thing at a time.
Right.
You don't clean your room in one fell swoop.
That is a perfect segue into our third point.
Oh, wow,
okay. So after you make these resolutions that are manageable and attainable, you show up. Showing up, that one rocked my world. I listened to this podcast called Unfuck Your Brain, and the life coach there, Carlo, and actually talks about perfectionism. We all suffer from it. We have this ideal, you know, setting or expectation in our mind, like we said before, and showing up really just throws all of that in the trash can. And it's not fun to show up, because again, I feel like they're human nature to want to make everything perfect. And even if you're not like on the, you know, far end of the spectrum, there's still a little bit of you who's like, okay, I said I'm gonna work out today, I'm gonna do it for 30 minutes, I'm gonna do 15 push-ups, and I'm gonna run on the treadmill for 20 minutes, and then just say you do 10 push-ups, and then you run for, you know, 5 minutes, and it's not what you said you were gonna do.
Right.
And you feel terrible. You're like, oh, I suck at this, I'm just not even gonna do it again.
You just give up.
And you give up. And then you see how that bites you in the butt, because one, you did do the workout. Just because you didn't do it perfectly doesn't mean that you didn't do it. You did it, and that's something you didn't do before, so it's progress. But now you've halted any further progress, even if it's imperfect progress, because you have this ideal mindset of, I have to do everything the right way. And I started to incorporate showing up in my life, and I think that's what made me very exhausted of the whole resolution narrative in the first place, because when I started to really work on my goals, when I would just, if the first step to, I don't know, starting to learn how to draw is just signing up for the class. Or my first step to working out is just walking on the treadmill for 5 minutes. It's not cute. It's not something I'm like ready to tell everybody, like, yeah, I walked for 5 minutes. But it's something. And then every day I was building on that something, and I continued to show up. And that's the point.
Success is an iterative process. You don't just wake up one day and you're Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or something.
People may not want to be him.
Whoever your you know, whoever your definition of success is, you don't just wake up. It's an iterative process. Make today better than yesterday. So instead of setting your goals based on some unrealistic, optimistic future you have for yourself, you base your goals on your past behavior. And so past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior. So if yesterday I was only able to like run 3 miles, today I'm gonna run 3.25 miles. And that's the whole point.
And
I'm just gonna make today better than yesterday.
Progressed,
or just try not to go backward, you know? It doesn't matter how small those steps are, because if you just stick with it, if you're able to stick with it, eventually you're gonna hit to your optimal goal.
Exactly. And I think that reminds me, like, a lot of people, I included, had this idea of, and have this idea that success is pretty and it's glamorous and it's quick and it's overnight, and it's so long term. Like, so many successful companies and people, like, they spent years doing decades doing these small things. And that's why, again, I'm irritated by the whole resolutions thing, because it's not just 1 year I decided to do this and it changed. Okay, maybe this year I decided to make sure without fail I exercise at least 30 minutes a week, not a day, a week. I'm trying to break it down because I want people to see how real it could be. So anyway, show up. trust me, you won't regret it every time you show up to do something that you said you were going to do. It builds your self-confidence even if you don't do it right.
Yeah.
And it makes the idea of doing it so much easier. And I'm a living proof of this. I literally have taken, to read that same book that I'm talking to you about, I've taken like a month and a half.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's only 200 pages. But I don't, again, it goes back to my point. Vow to try again. And I know it sounds like, it's like whatever, but this goes along with showing up, because there are days, even if you, like, your human nature is going to tell you 5 minutes of exercise is too much for me, even though that's not true. You're going to think that, you know that's going to happen because, again, you did number one and you observed your behavior. You're going to say, I just don't feel like doing exercise tomorrow. Even if it's 5 minutes, I just don't want to do it. You're going to be in a mood, something's going to happen, you get in a car crash, your dog dies, whatever. 2020. So shit happens, okay? Shit happens. You're not going to be in the mood. The thing you do is vow to try again. In the book, it says never fail twice. So it kind of puts a limit to how much you procrastinate about something and how much you're like, oh, I'm just going to give up because I didn't do it perfectly, or I don't feel like doing it.
One thing that just kind of jumps out at me when you say never fail more than twice, is I think one of the things that kills progress is when you just beat yourself up when you fail.
Yes, agreed.
And you just have to be, what I found to be helpful is just being able to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Like there are situations where you just don't show up.
Sorry, the camera just turned off. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
That was weird. My camera does that. It doesn't want to show up for me.
You may not even show up, even though that's step number 3.
Right, right.
And really being able to forgive yourself and just saying, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And just moving on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's very helpful, because one thing you want to avoid is you fail and you let that create a routine of failure. You make yourself feel like shit. You're like, oh, I failed, I'm just gonna keep failing.
Right.
And then the more you fail, the easier it becomes to fail.
Right.
But the flip side is the more you succeed, the easier it is to succeed.
Right. There's several things that I'm like, I suck at. I'm terrible. I've been trying to meditate for years. I've been trying to be like the most flexible stretch queen for years, and I'm still not there, but I still want to keep doing it. I'm still going to try again. Even if it's 2 months later, I'm like, okay, today's the day I'm going to wake up and do it again, because it keeps you more optimistic. Number 5, this is our last tip, and then we're going to kind of get into our New Year's resolutions. Or mine. So step number 5, or tip number 5, is to start dedicating 100% of your energy to your tasks. So this, again, comes a little later, because we have to get to the idea of, okay, this is what we do, this is the goal that we're gonna make, and we're gonna try to show up and try again. But this kind of gets to the point where you kind of got that down, and you're ready to start putting a lot of your energy into those goals or resolutions that you want to make. So this is what our friend Derek told us. Whenever you are doing something, be more present with it. Because I think it can just be, resolutions can easily become just emotion. Like, I said I'm gonna do it, I'm doing it, doesn't really matter. And this is why it's really important to tie it to your life's purpose or your life's goal, because it makes it deeper than just, I'm gonna do 5 minutes of working out, or I'm gonna do 5 minutes of reading. It's like, no, I want to become very knowledgeable in a certain field, because I want to help this community or whatever. It's bigger than just the motion. It's more to you. Whether that's being 100% present when you are having a conversation with someone, or being 100% present when you're studying for an exam. And in this tip, I would definitely say time yourself. Because I feel like it forces you to be present. Because when I have eons to do a task, I get really distracted. You pull out your phone. It's just naturally, with all the technology and stimulation around us, we have so many freaking options, right? So I started to time myself, and this made it so much easier. Okay, I have 20 minutes to do the dishes. And one, I try to get it done. Like, naturally, I feel like you want to challenge yourself. I'm like, oh, I want to do it. I want to get it done. And then now I'm focused on doing it. You don't rush to the point where you're not getting getting quality, but give yourself a time, but a certain time that forces you to focus.
Yeah.
If I only have 30 minutes to study for this test, or I only have 30 minutes to write this article, I'm gonna be attentive because I don't have time to, you know, scroll on scroll on Instagram, or go on Twitter, like go on, you know, watch a quick, you know, video, even if it's at work. Like I only have an hour to get this thing done, and it's something that you know it's gonna take you more than an hour, but give yourself a comfortable but set time to do something. You'll notice that you're just a little bit more present because you have to be.
Ultimately, the past is a complete fiction.
Yeah.
Like the past happened, but all you have left is your memory of it, which is distorted by your experience and your opinions and beliefs, and then the future hasn't happened yet. So how could that even be real?
Right.
So the only thing that is real, if anything, is the present.
I'm just gonna end off with my quick resolutions, and I didn't want to make them basic. I wanted to make them something that was kind of what I started doing last year, and I intentionally and at the end of last year was like, I'm gonna start doing these things that I want to do and just keep the momentum in 2021. Not like, oh, I'm starting a brand new life and I'm gonna be perfect. No.
Right.
So I have 3 overall concepts, and then there's little habits that go into each of them. So my first one is be more present. So like we were talking about, showing up, but being 100% in the things that I'm doing. So a lot of the things that keep me present are meditation, journaling, planning out my life, kind of having reflection points, like in the middle of the year, like every quarter, I'm gonna reflect on the habits that I've done, reflect on my schedule, and then like stretching, things like that allow me to breathe and think and reflect. So that helps me to be more present throughout my day. And then being more consistent is my second one. So this is kind of the idea of working hard at what I want to do. I definitely want to keep up creating content, be consistent on here. Follow my Instagram if you haven't, but I really want to put a lot of energy into working hard at my craft of creating. So I want to keep that up, educating myself, reading, just learning more about my world and about myself. Which goes into my last resolution, which is to be, what did I do? Okay, my last resolution, which is to be more myself. So this is deepening the relationship I have with myself and others, and the exchange between that. I want to learn who I am to the core, not kind of what the world presents to me or tells me who I am. And then I want to understand myself through other people, because I feel like with other people you definitely start picking at different things that you didn't notice before. Yeah, so those are my 3 resolutions, and they're not grand or super. I do have measures for each of these, like I try to journal like 5 times a week, or stretch for 20 minutes a day. Those I do have those broken down, but these are things that kind of align to my bigger purpose of being happy.
I guess if I have one.
Oh, he has an expert here.
Okay, it's gonna sound like a basic bitch resolution. So the resolution is lose 15 pounds. At least for me, the road to success goes through diet and exercise. So I know, like, once I get to that point, that's just gonna open up additional goals and additional opportunities.
Keep you motivated and keep you going.
It just takes me to a good place whenever I can get my that routine of diet and exercise going. I've just performed better. I'm more productive. I'm happier. I'm just in a better position. Yeah,
which is good. I think we got some pretty good goals. I also kind of want to do a 3-week update on these, just see where I'm gonna be tracking all of it. And if you want a habit tracker, James Clear does offer one on his website. I'll link that below in the description, and I'll kind of put some other ones that I've seen that are really cute, because I want a cute one for my room. But track your habits. Start with the basics, make it easy. I really hope this helped you look at your resolutions in a different way. I know it's kind of like early January, so we're still kind of getting shit together, and if something's not working with your resolutions already, it's time to reflect and do it the right way, because I'm sure a lot of people are struggling with it, because time is a concept that really not much has changed. Okay, so you have to force that change. So yeah, Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting more videos. Follow his YouTube and follow my Instagram for more content. And we will see you I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful, productive day. I couldn't think of anything.